Hey. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Everybody's doing really well. We are remote again today, but I guess you know that. So thanks for dialing in this morning. It's about 9:30 this morning on this Thursday, and Guilford County Schools has announced that we're going to be remote both today and tomorrow. So I got some information to share with you about how your day is going to look, and certainly your teachers are going to be sharing some additional information with you. But today is the 20th of January, 2022. There's a lot of twos and zeros in that date. So let me give you a couple of updates. First up, today is an A day. That means that when you have time to go to your encore classes later on this afternoon, you're going to be checking into your A day encore classes. The schedule that we use today is going to be checking in at 9:30 this morning, which congratulations, you've already done. And then you're going to go through 4 live classes today. And they're kind of going to be back to back with about a 15-minute break in between. We want to give you an opportunity to get a snack and get some lunch and stretch your legs a little bit. But you got 4 live classes today, so your teachers will be sharing that schedule with you. And we'll do exactly the same schedule for tomorrow. So I'll see you again tomorrow morning around 9:30. But then also I'll be popping into classes today, those live sessions. So glad you're up and going and hope you have a fantastic Friday. Let's give you a little bit of a house update. So obviously we've only been in school one day this week, but really we hadn't even been in school, but we were remote yesterday. And during that time, there were some points given out. And so it looks like Nike House is a pretty good remote learning house. 84 points yesterday. I'm sure those point totals will go up today as teachers give additional points for great participation in class and other demonstrations of excellence. But congratulations to Nike House. We are still in the month of January. We are focusing on this term courage, which is about making sure that you are doing the right things, even if people around you are not, being willing to attempt things that might be difficult. And then yesterday, I introduced you to a new book. Well, it's not new to me, but it may be new to you. But it's written by this guy, Paul Tuff. He's a really cool writer. He works for the New York Times, lives up in New York City, and writes a lot about education and how we can help young people be successful. So I like reading his work. And he wrote a book called How Children Succeed. And one of the characteristics that he talked about was the importance of having something called grit. So here's the 7 characteristics that we're going to be working our way through over the next several days. And this idea of grit, the arrow is pointing to it, is kind of being courageous and brave and making sure you got some backbone and some spirit. I said that one of the synonyms that went along with it is the term pluck, guts, spunk. I like those words. So grit isn't something that you can just all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm going to be gritty. You have to develop it over time. And it comes from having challenges, and it comes from being in difficult situations or facing circumstances and like developing this tendency to overcome and to persevere. And so when you go through a tough time or when you hit a challenge in the classroom or at home or on the ball field or whatever, see that as an opportunity to be growing in your grittiness. We want you to be gritty young people and gritty adults too, because man, we face tons of challenges also. And so the story yesterday came from this particular NFL player, Sam Mills, when he faced multiple challenges, both in his career and then with his health battle later on in life, he said that he was just going to keep pounding. He was going to keep going at it every single day, giving it his best effort to overcome whatever obstacle was in his path. So he did that on the football field. He did that in life, and he's just seen as a tremendously gritty individual. And there's a statue of him right outside Bank of America Stadium that every time I go there, I like to go and just kind of look up at it and stand beside it and just kind of think about the impact that Sam Mills had on so many people. One of the quotes that I like about grittiness talks about the difference between talent and effort. And we've discussed this before. We've basically said that, hard work beats talent. Angela Duckworth, who's another writer, she says, as much as talent counts, which it does, it's good to be talented, effort counts twice. That means like if you are willing to work hard and put forth effort, be gritty, it's way more important than just having a particular talent. Okay. So we'll continue to talk about being gritty, but I want to move on to another characteristic that Paul says is really, really important in young people and in adults, and is the characteristic of optimism. So that blue arrow is pointing to it, but optimism is like having an expectation that the future holds some good stuff, having an outlook or having a demeanor in life, or when you look at situations, you're like, okay, this is going to be all right. Things are going to turn out good. This is going to be beneficial for me. Having a hopeful, optimistic approach to life is really, really important. Another way to look at it is like training your mind and training your eye to see good in every situation. Now, that can be tough, right? Like right now, we are in year 2 of COVID. It's very difficult to look at a situation like COVID and to say things are going to be good. I'm highly optimistic. But you have to find a way, even in difficult circumstances, to think this is all right. We can make this happen. It's kind of like today, right? We're remote for the second day in a row. We're going to be remote for 3 days. It is not ideal. I'd rather have all of our young people in the building, moving up and down the halls, bumping in and out of classrooms, going to rally, eating lunch, playing ball games. That's what I'd rather be doing. But even though we're remote, we can make the best out of the situation. So I have an optimistic lens towards the way the day is going to go. Your teachers have prepared lessons. They're here in the building right now, greeting you, getting you into the classroom, ready to share information with you. So training your mind and eye to see the good in every situation, even when the situation doesn't look so good. So let me tell you a quick story. Back in the 1930s, now that was like 90 years ago, but excuse me, all across America, or all across the world, but specifically in America, we had something going on called the Great Depression. This is a set of statues or a memorial that you can find in Washington, D.C. When you walk through the Roosevelt Memorial. And this is basically shows like how many people were in poverty during that time. And I'm not talking about just poverty. They didn't have enough money to keep Netflix on every month with the $18 fee. I'm talking about like they didn't have anything to eat. They didn't have any jobs. These were people that before had jobs and were relatively successful, but now they found themselves standing in food lines. I don't mean like the food line in the grocery store. I mean like a line of people that stood in line for hours just to go get like a bowl of soup or maybe a chicken that they could take home and feed their family. So this is a picture of New York City of lots of people standing in line to get food, to be able to feed their family. Most of these people look like they're pretty dejected. I like this individual right here, man. He's got an optimistic lens. He is smiling from ear to ear. He's like, you know what? It's going to be all right. You're in the middle of the Great Depression. Some other things that were going on during that time. You had the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. It pulled the United States into the Second World War. It was not a really good time for America, and a lot of people were depressed, and they were not optimistic. They didn't have a hopeful view for what the future would hold. Enter Captain America, my favorite superhero of all time. So in 1940, an individual was going to create Captain America specifically because he wanted to bring optimism to the American people. So you see the various looks that Captain America has had over the years, but there's an individual named Joe Simon. And in 1940, he was really upset about what was going on in Germany. You had Adolf Hitler. You had basically the Germans trying to eradicate a specific race of people. And so Joe Simon wanted to create a true hero, a leader that could bring about optimism and could bring about a sense that things were going to get better. And so he created a character known as Captain America, and he thought, what would the characteristics be that we would see in a hero, in a true leader? And it was somebody like Captain America. It was somebody that was an ordinary individual, somebody that was physically and mentally tough. There's your grit. But also somebody that brought a sense of optimism and kind of thinking that whatever the challenge is, we can overcome it. Whatever the challenge is, Captain America will get in the fight and I can take this head on. So this is a really cool scene from one of the more recent Captain America films. I just love watching him, man. He's such a great leader. He's fearless. Watch as he gets in the fight right here.
Stand down. Repeat, stand down.
Man, that's a tough dude right there. I hate what happened to his motorcycle though, because he hits that front brake and kind of catapults himself forward, and that thing just goes tumbling, man. You got to protect your motorcycle. So anyway, I appreciate that clip from Captain America. I appreciate him as a character. We use him today just to talk about the optimistic lens that superheroes and other leaders kind of bring every time we face difficult challenges. So hopefully you've got some optimistic people in your family, some folks that you hang around, but you know the opposite. You know what pessimism looks like. You know when people are negative. So we're going to talk about developing optimism. It is something that you can build in yourself. Excuse me. One of the biggest things you can do is just kind of attempt to see the good in every situation. Kind of like we said, train your mind to look for, like, what are the good elements in this particular situation? Like this morning, man, it's raining. We're remote. I mean, there's some pessimistic ways that you could view today. However, man, here we are. We're up and going, right? Everybody's healthy, has an opportunity to get online this morning. Hopefully, you got something to eat. You got an opportunity to maybe get outside later today when the sun comes out. So train yourself to see the good. You got to believe that change is possible. Even when stuff is bad, man, it's going to get better. There's one thing about trouble. Trouble don't last. You just got to stick it out. So use an optimistic voice when you're around people. And if you're around people that are pessimistic, try to avoid them and try to say, you know what, I'm not going to use pessimism in this situation. I'm going to see the good and I'm going to spread the good. So just think about today, man. It's going to be a great day. I hope you have an opportunity today to learn something new, to interact with people in your class, even though you're remote, and just have the lens and have the view that today is going to be a great day. This is what Captain America's quote is. He says, "Be careful, look out for each other. This is the fight of our lives, and we're going to win." There's the optimistic lens. Whatever it takes, good luck. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Look forward to popping in your classes today. Hey, teachers, the creed is on the screen today. If you'd like to ask a scholar if they would like to come off mute, turn their camera on, whatever it might be, so they can share Leader's Creed, thinking about how we are disciplined, we are focused, hey, and we're right on time. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll lead us in the pledge in just a moment. All right, as I say each and every day, the Pledge of Allegiance is an opportunity for us as a nation daily to commit to being unified, one nation, under God, indivisible, means you can't break us up, liberty and justice. Freedom and justice for everyone. I invite you, even in your home, stand this morning. We'll pay honor to our country with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Today's going to be a great day. Be gritty, be optimistic. Take good care, guys.